All right, folks. Yes, welcome to Inside Arm Wrestling, the home for all news on arm wrestling, fitness, strength, sports, and fitness competition. No more frequent flyer bitch miles. I did not have to look at that sheet. And you know why? Because Big Anthony got me a teleprompter. So take the glasses off and a very dramatic glass take off. I got my little phone activated here in front of me. But it is a short week for us here today, here for us this week here Inside Arm Wrestling. We just came off of our Harley-Davidson Bike Week. I will say this, folks, it was a great success on many levels. And, you know, a lot of times people measure, entries as a level of success. For us, this event was a fun event. And what I mean by that is we wanted to be competitive for sure. We gave competitive money out. We put $1,000 out on the line. We had a lot of custom medals. We had the custom overall strongmen or whatever you want to call them, Hulks. But what we did was really gave ourselves a footprint and a footing, if you will, for us on a production end. We were able to go in with our new switchers, our new gear. We were able to look at two different camera types between the Blackmagic, the FS7s, in order to give us the best visual output to see which camera would perform better in these circumstances on a live feed. It gave us the ability to use GoPros and intertwine them with the feed. Luckily enough, we had Felipe DeMaria show up for us. He is a sports broadcaster for Fox Sports Deportes. He sat down, put a mic on, something that we didn't expect. We had Steve Serber jump in, Jody Williams jump in. And ultimately, guys, what we really found in the course of doing our production there was that we were able to create really the analytics that we need in order to make a very, very good production product for 2025 when we do live and pay-per-views. And that was really the litmus test for us. Now, coupled with the fact that we had some great athletes, we had some great matches. Jody Williams versus Paul Stevens. Paul went down 2-0 from the jump, was able to battle back 2-2 to tie it up. Jody Williams taking the last match. What a great battle. Now, again, we're always sad to see when an athlete gets hurt, and Mega Mike certainly would have brought a different dynamic to that match than Paul. Paul, more of a seasoned puller, a lighter puller than Jody, came into that match on short notice. No real strategy or training to be able to really focus in on maybe the speed of Jody. When you're doing super matches, you're going to kind of focus in on the things that one opponent might do better than someone else versus a tournament. But still, held his own, made some adjustments in round 3 and 4. We do have videotape. I'm sure as I'm talking here, Anthony's going to have the videotape rolling on top of me. But made some really good adjustments, brought it back to 2-2. Jody Williams taking the last one to win his super match, and ultimately gave us a very exciting way to start our match. Boy, I got a little frog in my throat. Trying to get it out. There it goes. Goodbye, frog. Hello, fish. We then moved on to our second super match. And I actually apologize. Our first super match was Steve West versus Michael Brown. But we'll talk about them as our second. Steve West, just powerful. Powered right through Michael Brown's hand and arm. Now, Michael Brown is not necessarily a 185 to 205 arm wrestler. He's competed with us at 76. Very strong 76. Very tall individual. But had a little bit of problems, I think, with the speed of Steve. Steven was very strong, very fast, and was able to really control the match from the start, 1-3-0. And kudos to Steven. A great job for Michael for coming down and super matching with Steven. That was really awesome for both of those guys to get some competitive work in on the table. And our last match had Jonathan Sprouse versus Brian Jacobs in a best-of-3 military match that will set up for our military division on November 2nd. So those two gentlemen, I think they split 1-1, and then Brian won the last one. I believe he took it 2-1. Now, I guess I should know that. And if I'm wrong in the video, Anthony's going to say, point the finger at Greg and say, I was wrong. But it was a long day. I'm not cheating by looking at my results. And it's a semi-live newscast. So great job by all three super matches. We rolled into the tournament. And one of the things that you probably saw on that live stream as we got started is we started to look at the timing between going one table at a time in a multiple table tournament, and it really didn't work out. And again, that's why it was a unique and very positive experience for us as WSA, because then we were able to make the adjustments. We went to a split screen. We were able to show both matches at the same time. And ultimately, our tempo and our pace of our tournament picked up, and we're able to stay on track. And without these kind of practice runs for us, as an organization, we're unable to really dissect the hurdles that may come into a promotional event like this. And we would have to really adjust on the fly. And I would rather do it in a non-stressed environment like we did at Bike Week. And listen, we had probably, I think our Instagrams and social medias jumped up 50 to 100 followers. So we had a great response there. We had, I think at one point, over 100 people on the stream watching. So now we went back to our service provider, and now we can see what the equation is versus time on the stream to see how many gigs we use so that we can understand and really calculate bandwidth. So the front end of the event with all the pullers was amazing. Every athlete gave it their all. Great job out there to David Egan and Arson. They were the overall winners on the lightweight and the heavyweight side. But everyone battled hard. Brent Lagasse pulled 2 weight classes, ended up winning the super side of it. Russ Jackson and him had some great battles. Carl Gerke and Jody Williams definitely had the matches of the day. Those guys went at it on the table. That was incredible. David Egan, what can you say? The man's super strong. Arson, he's going to be hard to beat in our finals. But you know what? Every tournament is different. Luck of the draw. Battles make and styles make battles. Anything can happen in a big tournament, especially in a World Series of Arm Wrestling tournament. Jonathan Sprouse, I'll tell you what, looked really strong. He pulled the 65 class and won that both left and right. And then Fabian Chavez won the 185 class. So those were your winners in no particular order as I rounded them out. But having said all that, we had some really great matches out there. And I really want to thank all of the pullers for doing just a great job. They really just did a great job. And ultimately, in doing a great job, it gave us the benefit of being able to understand what we need to do a better job. And Harley Davidson has never seen anything like that at that location. They are super stoked for November 2nd. So, having said all that, remember, folks, November 2nd, we have been reaching out. I think we've got everybody locked in for their hotel rooms. There are a couple of guys that still haven't responded to me. I'm giving them a little bit extra time. But remember, everyone qualified. If you pulled in a regional, you can come to the finals. Do not let your showing at a regional dictate to how you might do at the finals. Come down. We're paying out prize money places 1 through 8. No other tournament in America is doing that. No other tournament is giving you the money that we're giving out there. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it goes back to you as the arm wrestlers. So take advantage of it. I mean, why not? There's a lot of competition out there in terms of events to go to. But when you have a big opportunity to really showcase your talents and win tournament-style money, it's hard to think that you'd want to be anywhere else. However, everybody has choices, and we really respect them. But if you have a chance to come out November 2nd, that's where you want to be. Now, having said that, guys, I am looking at the internet. In the next couple of weeks, you've got the Mr. Olympia Ultimate Arm Wrestling League, the UAL, better known as Bill Collins family. Always do great events. They've got their event in Las Vegas, and certainly that's going to be one to go after. They call it the World Cup. So if you want to win their World Cup event, it is in Las Vegas. It will be at the Las Vegas Convention Center, and it looks like from looking at this, the amateurs and masters will be October 11th, and the open class will be October 12th. So if you're an amateur or master, you're going to want to be there on that Friday to compete. If you're at a pro class or an open class puller, you're going to want to be there on that Saturday. So they've got it split up on 2 days. Looking at the events, they've got 165, 85, 205, 232, and 233 plus on the open and amateurs, 65, 205, and 206 on the masters, 54 and 55 on the women's. They do have some super matches, some really good ones, guys. If you know anything about powerlifting, if you know anything about strength training, 2 names are going to come up in terms of a fitness enthusiast. Brandon Allen out of Las Vegas, Nevada. He's known for his incredible strength, especially as a powerlifter, as a strong man. Brandon has been around for a long time. And he looks really good. I mean, if you followed his journey, he's cut down in weight before. He's actually pretty tight. I think around 275 to 285. I think I saw was the last time he jumped on the scale. And if you know anything about bench press, you know that Leroy Walker with a 685 raw is one of the strongest men ever to get underneath the bench. And he has transferred or transformed, if you will, from bench press and strong, powerlifting records into the arm wrestling world. He is definitely gotten quite a bit better. I think this is a great matchup. Styles make matchups, and styles make matches. I think what you're going to find, because both of these guys are somewhat defensive arm wrestlers, and I think that what you're going to see, one of these two are going to really have to make an offensive push. Both of them have been known to go into a King's move and certainly have a pretty good lock position. But you can't both go into a King's move unless you're just stretched out in the middle of the table, which ends up being a really goofy match. So one of these two guys are going to have to get offensive. I don't know who that's going to be. It'll be fun to see. But both great arm wrestlers, both great people, and both really pinnacle athletes in terms of where they came from prior to arm wrestling. Then you bring in Ricardo Perón from Brazil, a really, really strong arm wrestler. And he's going against certainly a guy who's been on the scene for quite a while. He's a world elite athlete. He's definitely a national champ on different levels. Jordan Sill coming down from Utah. That'll be a great match to see. Don't know much about Ricardo. That doesn't mean that he isn't well known. I just don't know much about him. I do know a lot about Jordan, and certainly Jordan will bring it. There's no doubt about it. So I would say that it's a coin flipping on my end. Don't know enough about Ricardo, but I'm going to cheer for Jordan nonetheless. We got another really interesting match here, which is Heidi Cordner, and she is going up against Sarah Backman. And, first off, you have two incredibly friendly and well-received young ladies in Heidi and in Sarah. I'll be honest with you. I don't know how much Heidi's been competing, and I have seen Sarah compete quite a bit. And therefore, I would have to say that my gut tells me that Sarah is probably the favorite in this match. Although you never know. Just because you don't see somebody competing doesn't mean they're not competing or training hard. I'm sure Heidi's going to come very prepared for this. She's a very, very competitive arm wrestler. So I don't think anything other than she's going to bring the noise and try to give Sarah a very long day and take a victory. But I do think that Sarah's strength and her speed might be a bit too much for Heidi. So, having said that, another great match to watch. I got this itchy nose thing when it comes to camera, guys. I tell you what, I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving signals out there. Who knows? Maybe you want to take it. It could be a blackjack signal. A lot of guys on the blackjack table, they kind of work in tandems. So, if somebody needs a hit, they rub their nose. I actually saw something that was really interesting on Greg Maddox, which we'll go to a quick aside. But we got one more round robin with the UAL out there. You got Oleg Cossington and Leroy Walker, Jeremy Petruncio, better known as Tank, and Casey Stevens, better known as Grizzly. And Casey with the slap fighting is becoming more and more of a polarized figure. They're going to do a 4-way round robin. You know what? A lot of these guys have similar styles. Tank is a very explosive arm wrestler. Again, Leroy is a very defensive arm wrestler. I don't know if somewhere along the line, maybe Leroy gets a little worn out from Brandon. I don't know the timelines on that. So one match or the other is going to give away, because if he gets into a battle with Brandon, I'm sure he's not going to be as fresh in a 4-way round robin. However, if the round robin is first, it may take some toll out of him on a 4-way round or 4-way round robins first. It may take some toll out of him with the Brandon match. I had to get that right. I had to think about that. That magical cloud in the air, the light bulb went out and then came back on. So back in the game, that's the Mr. Olympia. Looks like Bill has gotten some pretty cool medals, and it looks like maybe some wristbands. I'm looking at his video streaming here. You guys will see it as Anthony kind of puts it out there. You probably won't see my eyes going down, but they are. So Bill always does a premier event. He's a great guy. The Collins family is a big provider of excellence in the world of arm wrestling. So, Bill and Chris, good luck for you on this upcoming event. And then lastly, guys, we want to bring in, it's Friday, so we're going to go Friday. We're announcing that we are starting casting for the house. You will see a social media flyer out this Friday. It will give you instructions on where to send an email with some headshots, with your age, your name, your experience, nicknames. So when you see that and you have some interest in being on the very first ever reality show for arm wrestling called The House, please make sure that you get your interest in. We will be casting that here early 2025 to film in the spring of 2025. And then we're going to release right at that beginning of our 2025 season. So there are some stipulations. Make sure that if you want to get involved in them, that you have it really mapped out, that you have the availability. And ultimately, guys, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We want to get as many opportunities out there to individuals who want to be on a program like this. And ultimately, this is going to evolve into something much, much bigger. But it's our preliminary. I'm going to sneeze. I hope Anthony did a cover up there. Put the flyer for the house there so you guys actually didn't see me sneeze and only heard it. And all of you people in virtual reality space are probably saying, hey, God bless you, Greg. And for you, from me to you, thank you. So if you're out there and you want to get involved with the house, you've got Team Williams, we've got Team Sheldon. We're going to do a casting call in order to see who out there can put aside the time in order to be on a great new show. Outside of that, folks, hey, listen, this has been Inside Arm Wrestling, and as always, being Friday, go out and have a great weekend. Be safe. Have some fun, train hard. If you got some local tournaments in your area, do well. Post your results as always. If you're doing something with World Series, always remember to tag us, follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the notification bell. If you're on Rumble, make sure that you're also following us on Rumble, subscribe on there. And all these little metrics count. The more that you're engaging with us and putting in the comments some of the things you think about. Greg, didn't like your t-shirt, but who wouldn't like the Blackheart t-shirt? To be honest with you, it's our sponsor from Jacksonville in terms of our location event sponsor. It's hard not to like those guys. So it's a great t-shirt, and I like wearing great t-shirts. Again, yeah, I got the clap and the finger point. It's been Greg Sharp here with Inside Arm Wrestling. Remember to train hard, lift safe, and pull something, pull smart. That's what it is. Anthony, you gave me the teleprompter on the front end. We got to work on the teleprompter on the back end. But either way, guys, have a great weekend, and we will talk more next week. Folks, if you like these stories and you want to see more, please hit the like button and subscribe to our page. Also, hit the notification bell underneath the video so that way you're notified every time a new video comes out. And if you're on social media, specifically Instagram, go to the World Series of Arm Wrestling Instagram page. Please follow it. We'll try to follow you back, but it'll keep you up to date with all of the news and events in the world of arm wrestling.